Christmas, eh? Big boxes of chocolates, bearded man emptying his sack on your living room floor, and the now annual tradition of idiots arguing about whether Die Hard is or isn't a Christmas film. Here's some information for you. It doesn't matter. Why would it matter? It is what it is. You can slap a bit of tinsel on a tramp if you want, but arguing about whether this makes him Father Christmas isn't going to change the fact he lives in a bin. But get this. While there's little to no point debating whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, there's a whole fat wedge of evidence that nobody's looking at. To wit, just how Christmassy are the Die Hard video games. There have been at least 8 games based upon the Die Hard series, with 5 of them directly retelling events from the first movie. And it's to there to which we now turn. Specifically Sega's 1996 Die Hard Arcade, released on the Saturn the following year, having been developed for the STV arcade board, which formed the basic guts of the Saturn. To be honest, it's only somewhat inspired by the film. The broad strokes of the plot are there, with a bunch of crooks breaking into the big office building, but there's also a secondary female playable character. The main bad guy looks nothing like Alan Rickman, and you've got to rescue the president's daughter, who for some reason is hiding in a desk cupboard. You know, like the sort of cupboard Mummy and Daddy might hide your presents in. The Japanese version takes an even bigger liberty by renaming the main character Bruno Dellinger and dropping any direct association with the film by calling it Dynamite Detective. Get this, it's actually a pretty decent beat 'em up, if a bit easy and short-lived. In fact, it's the first beat 'em up to use texture-mapped polygons, if you choose to ignore the Virtua Fighter series because you're one of those people who thinks they're fighting games. Certainly there's a lineage here that could be traced back to Streets of Rage and Final Fight, with all the tropes of the genre present and correct. Bad guys drop weapons that you can turn upon them, you can grab barrels and grandfather clocks to hit them over the head with, and while there are no roast turkeys hidden in piles of tyres, you can gobble health pills like they're Cadbury's Roses. But how Christmassy is it? Well, not very. The Saturn version was released in April 1996, so Christmas stylings might have put people off from frolicking with their spring lambs, but that doesn't excuse the complete lack of tinsel. However, there are hints here that the Christmas influence isn't entirely absent. The first big suggestion is the female playable character. While in the version released in the West she's called Chris Thompson, the Japanese non-Die Hard edition calls her Cindy Holiday. You know, as in the holidays, which is what Americans call Christmas for some stupid reason. And there's more! Sometimes you can find what appear to be Christmas gifts laying around. Opening them sometimes reveals weapons. In this case, a small square gift somehow contains Trigger's broom from Only Fools and Horses, which of course was a Christmas Day tradition in the United Kingdom for many years. Then there's this. John McClane can apparently wield a can of spray snow, squirting it into the eyes of the terrorists. Alternatively, it could be mace, but we'll gloss over that. And that's about it. There's not even a hint of a jingle bell on the soundtrack, composed by Howard Drossin, who also provided the tunes for Sonic and Knuckles and Comic Zone. Indeed, this lack of festive cheer would continue, because the game spawned something of a franchise, albeit with a lack of any association with Die Hard, producing 2 sequels, Dynamite Cop, in which the president's daughter is once again in need of a rescue, and Asian Dynamite, plus a spin-off manga and a novella, all of which points towards Die Hard Arcade not being of any use in the ongoing controversy over Die Hard's festive status. And that should be fine with you, because frankly, if that's the sort of thing that gets you fired up, then God help us all. Honestly, you people sicken me. I bet if it snowed in the middle of summer, you'd wander around going, ooh, is this Christmas Day? Happy holidays!
Cactus.